Hey, Jack here, and my camera seems to be chopping again. It's doing so good too. But for this video, I'm going to talk about some voice changes first, but mostly I'm going to talk about the horror that is personality changes, or rather, the horror that is the fact that everybody dwells on whether or not my personality has changed or will change in the future. So first off, and my camera's chopping again. I apologize. First, I'm a week late with my period. So fantastic. Maybe it won't come at all. That would be really wonderful. I mean, it was just a minor nuisance for me. Some people get really, really upset when it comes. It was just a nuisance for me, but still, one less nuisance for me to worry about. So voice changes. You can probably tell that they exist. um, it's been 6 weeks on testosterone as of yesterday. Yesterday was shot 7, which was it was interesting. The shot itself went fine, but I kept second guessing myself later. Like, did I do it right? It's like I don't feel any of the problems associated with injecting into a vein or something like that. So clearly I did it fine. But that's something that, and I know I'm not the only person that has this. It's associated with giving yourself medical care in that sort of capacity. You just get worried. Um, yeah. So my voice is getting really wonky. Right now, it's pretty level. It's a little hoarse. It's definitely deeper. It's like right now, it just sounds so weird to me. This is not what I'm used to. Um, for right now, my range is really limited. Like there's a point at which I lose my voice if I try going up too high, and it's where my voice was normally a couple weeks ago, and I can get lower without it being uncomfortable. And that's all very nice. I can still sing, but I sound terrible. um, it's not that I actually sound terrible, it's that I can't sing loud, or I'll lose my voice, and I can't sing high pitched, or my voice cracks. If I sing lower than my speaking voice, it's a little bit better. Yeah, today my voice cracked, and I laughed about it for a full 30 seconds. It was interesting. Like I'm in bed and I called for the dog, and it's like ah! And I'm just sitting there like really laughing. Um, yeah. Other than that, my blood pressure is a little better. I don't think that I talked about that, did I? My blood pressure went up really high. I've been dieting and exercising very well though. I brought my weight back down to my pre-testosterone weight because I'd gained about um 10 pounds, somewhere around 10, 15 pounds, and I got that back down. I'm also gaining muscle though, so my body fat percentage is actually down quite a bit. And the shots are hurting a little bit more because of the exercise, because gaining muscle in your thighs can make it hurt more. But it's not prohibitively more. It's definitely doable, and it's not something that stresses me out almost at all, you know. Um, so anyway, personality changes. There have been a couple, I won't lie. But calling them personality changes actually feels really weird to me because I don't feel like my actual personality has changed. I feel like I'm more likely to show what my personality would have been if I wasn't being held back by not necessarily hormones, but being on hormones unfortunately lends a little bit of social legitimacy. I mean, I say unfortunately because how long have I been living as male? I've been living as male since like 2003, 2004. Why weren't people treating me male to begin with, and why are people treating women like shit to begin with? So, I feel like my real personality is coming out. There are some definite hormonal ones though. Um, the main differences as far as hormonal things go, I get turned on a little bit more. It's not that bad. I know that I'm not at the point where I'm going to be going insane over that, but it's not bad. Um, I don't like the same flavors that I used to. That's a bizarre one that I didn't really expect, and I experience anger very differently. I never liked chocolate that much for me to begin with. There were some kinds that I would eat pretty often, and now it's hard for me to finish a bar of chocolate unless it's like a spicy bar. And I can eat things with chocolate in them, but as far as just eating chocolate, I just don't like it. It's really weird because it tastes the same. It's not like it tastes different and I don't like that flavor. It's that the taste that I remember as being chocolate, I don't like it as much. And I don't like soda as much, which is actually a really good thing. I mean, I could live without chocolate too. That's not a big problem. But um soda, my goodness. Like I was trying to get rid of it anyway. I haven't drank soda in 3 weeks at least. Um because it was one of my New Year resolutions. I don't want it though. It's really weird because I've been addicted to that since early high school, if not earlier. I've been drinking a lot of water. Like I have to buy 2 cases of water a week. I can't wait to move to somewhere where I can actually drink the tap water. Here, I should show you my tap water. No, I shouldn't. It's pretty bad. Let's see. I just don't like them as much. I'm less likely to cry when I'm angry. Um, it's really interesting. Like, I cry when I'm sad. Like, if I watch Marley and Me to the end. Because my family, this is just one of the... My dad always talks about this. My dad cries at movies. And so do my brothers. My mom, not so much. We have one of them kind of family. And, yeah, he says things like, I just hope that it never changes because I don't want to be the person who can't feel emotions. And so yeah, I still cry during movies if it's particularly sad, not as much as I used to, but I still do it. And I cry when I'm sad, but when I'm angry, I don't. And that's like typical female behavior, like stereotypical female behavior. You get angry and you cry rather than shout, or you shout and cry at the same time. And I just don't do that anymore. Um, I'm more likely to get a little cocky, or and not even really at people. If I'm angry at someone, I might like shout about the situation, or if I'm angry at karma, I don't know. When I hit my deer, that was the big thing. Like normally I would have cried during that because I was really stressed out that day, but no, I was shouting instead. And then when dad yelled at me at the through the phone because I didn't know where I was, and apparently not knowing where you are 100% of the time is terrible. And he's like, well, and I'm like, and for some reason then I didn't get cocky. I'm like, Dad, don't yell at me. So I mean, it's not a big deal. And I don't get cocky in very inappropriate situations. I haven't done it at work with my residents or my coworkers. I haven't been like particularly snide with most people. So it really hasn't been a big deal, and it's actually been beneficial. Because how many people like being around somebody who cries when they're angry and dwells on it for a long time? Because that's another big change, because my anger goes away so fast, and I don't dwell on things. There are things that have bothered me for years that don't bother me as much anymore, and they shouldn't have bothered me to begin with, really. Things like rejections that happened like 5-6 years ago. And have bothered me ever since. Like, I just don't care that much anymore. Yeah. So I like the changes that have happened as far as personality goes. Because I don't need chocolate. I hated my addiction to soda. I'm so glad that I'm so close to kicking that. I mean, I won't consider myself to have kicked it unless it's been a few years, but I feel so good about that, and I don't know anybody who was really a fan of me crying when I was angry, so no biggie. And great. People ask me about the personality changes, though, and it's getting really, really bothersome, because nobody was alarmed at all the other things in my life that have changed my personality. Graduating from high school and college, those both changed my personality hugely. Giving up vegetarianism changed my personality, or was a byproduct of changing personality. Converting religions changed my personality. In the past 10 years, my personality has changed so much that I'm actually really annoyed at the person that I used to be back in the 90s and in the early 2000s. And in all these things, I don't know if people even noticed that it changed, let alone cared that it changed. But if it's a chemical thing, suddenly people get all freaked out. It doesn't matter if it's a chemical that's supposed to be in your body. Nobody's all worried about the personalities of men because they have testosterone flowing through their veins. But suddenly, I get some, and people are all worried about my personality changing. It's weird and bizarre, and it leads them to say some of the dumbest things. Like, I was reading this transphobic feminist blog, and I try to stay away from those, but sometimes, it's interesting. Um, and the writer was talking about how her friend went from being a, quote, happy lesbian to being a, quote, sad and depressed straight man. And I don't know the situation. There's a possibility that maybe he did. But I really don't think that that's what, generally speaking, happens. It's interesting because so many transphobic feminists, they have all these opinionated diatribes about sexism, and a lot of them do make sense. But as soon as you look at those same diatribes through the context of trans people, all that theorizing is ditched because they don't like us to begin with, and they don't want to like us, and they don't want to accept that we're legitimate, and so all the things that they would say about cis women or cis men do not apply to us in their brains for some bizarre reason. And it's really weird because the whole women looking happy and then going to being depressed men, depressed men, like, it seems to me like it's based on the fact that men smile less than women, and anybody who has looked at any sort of social theory can tell you that smiling is stereotypically and socially considered a sign of weakness, and the reason that women smile more than men is because they are trained to defer to men. And so they smile more because if they don't smile, they get punished socially for it by being called a bitch or being called cold or something like that. And it doesn't mean that they're happier. It means that they're trained to smile more because they're supposed to show that weakness. And if a trans man smiled more as a woman, why does that mean that he was happier? Why does it not mean that he doesn't need to worry about how much he smiles anymore? Yeah, so women smile because they're expected to smile more, not because they're happier. I haven't gotten that far yet. I still smile a lot. I'm totally cool with that. And my woman friends tell me I'm more approachable than other men, even ones who don't know I'm trans. And yes, they exist. I'm stealth in quite a few areas of my life, and they tell me that I'm approachable, and I have a feeling they think that I'm gay, which is fine with me. I'm like half gay, and here's the thing: when I let them know that I'm not gay, it leads to bizarre crushes that I don't need in my life. So yeah, I don't know that I want to get rid of that, either the smiling or the being thought of as gay, because I know that there are many social contexts in which I could be punished for smiling frivolously, but that's where this whole thing comes together. Like, frivolous smiles aren't happiness. I don't always smile because I'm happy. Sometimes I smile because it's considered polite, and it's more considered polite more often for women to smile than men, so women smile more. In my case, I know, and I can tell you, with absolutely no deception, that testosterone has made me happier, and it's made me more comfortable, more balanced, more motivated. Um, and that's not the story for everybody. There are some people who get on testosterone and now they don't have goals anymore. But it's not because of the testosterone, it's because of other issues in their life that happens. And yeah, those are the big personality changes that I've had so far, and they're not a bad thing. So, whatever. Until next time, though, happy trails. I gotta get going because I'm going on 14 minutes here. It's a little long, so see you later.